when you do certain things, you give them the leeway to shoot you. Just prime example. Say if I'm in a car, right? And they're saying, okay, get out the car, shut the car off, get out the car, and I'm like, huh, what? No, what? Whether I'm drunk or high or whatever, I'm not listening to commands. And they're saying, okay, show me your hands, show me your hands. Is there a weapon in the car? Show me your hands. And I'm just like, what? And doing this stuff in the car. And then finally, I like pull something out that kind of looks like a gun, and I just just do this and do it out the window. And the news will report it as, and this is just like a controller to the whatever. They'll report it as, oh, an unarmed black person was shot by the police, and they'll leave out that that black person was speeding. There was a police chase. They told him to pull over. He was not compliant. And then when finally when they did shoot him, is because he was doing furtive movement, which means a movement, an action, or whatever, where nobody knows what it is, but it looks possibly aggressive. And so they feared for their lives, because that's police procedure. If you fear for your life, you don't have to be in danger. That's the thing about it, Al. You don't have to actually be in danger. You just have to feel like your life is in danger, and that gives you justification to shoot. So if that doesn't
it's a very low threshold, isn't it?
Exactly. So well, you can call it low or high. That's not the thing. It's just that it's there, and people don't understand that threshold. You understand?
Yes,
People do stupid things to where they escalate a situation to where a cop feels justified to use deadly force. And then later they'll have to parse out through the courts whether it was justified or not. When people should just listen. Like we have a saying called comply.
Comply.
Yeah, just comply. Comply and complain. If you comply, live, complain. You see what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah. That's true. That makes sense.
Yeah.
If you don't comply, you ain't gonna have time to live to complain.
Exactly. So that's why when people like prime example, did you just see the newest shooting from that girl, the pregnant woman or whatever?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen it, you know.
There was a young woman, 21 years old, with 3 children. She had 2 and one on the way. She was pregnant, going into a grocery store, stealing alcohol, and so like 3 bottles of alcohol in her bag. Was told to stop. She didn't stop. She got in her car. Police were actually doing something. They were trying to help a citizen with their car, open a car door or whatever. And then the staff from the store said that was stealing. Please stop her. She's stealing. And so the cops, and mind you, the car had no license plates. She's pregnant. She's a mother, stealing alcohol. And they're telling her to don't turn the car on, stop, get out of the car, stop. And then she proceeds to start the car. They said stop, got out a gun, said stop, don't start the car, and nudged him out of the way with the car, and he shot and killed her. And whether she had a shot, and the child died as well. And justified in the eyes of law because she used the car as a weapon instead of stopping the car. And what she was doing, like her stealing alcohol was a misdemeanor. Like they would have let her go home. They wouldn't have, probably would have put her in cuffs, wrote her a ticket because she's pregnant, and sent her home.
Yeah.
But because she escalated the situation, because she felt she needed to escalate the situation, she died and her child's dead. And then 2 other black children have no mother.
Do you know what? A lot of our people that have lost their life through that by not compliance.
But then they want to convince you it's white supremacy and you need to burn up some shit and beat up some white people.
Oh yeah, I mean, us black people need to separate those 2 things. Black people are actually going out there being confrontational, creating problems, for themselves, and being caught. And also in the innocent black person that's just a bystander, just going about, his or her daily life and being targeted by the police. So we need to separate those 2 people. Otherwise, we're going to look at the victim as the criminal, or we look at the criminal as a victim. and that's not going to lead us anywhere. So that's why that's why I did not disagree with enough black people in the police force in the UK or America to be witness, at least, because we know they cannot do a lot while they're there, because they're under a command of their probably white master. But the reality is, if they're there as a witness, it can actually minimize the situation. And also, good example I'll give you. Last in Bristol here, we have one of the biggest. In fact, we have the oldest carnival in the UK. Yeah, which is St. Paul's Carnival, that was set up before Notting Hill. And I went there. There was a black guy on the way back home. Yeah, after the carnival finished, there's a black guy that came all the way from Nottingham with his family, right? His wife and his daughter. In the middle of the carnival, he started a row with his own family, arguing with his own wife and his kids, and the police arrested him. And they had him on the floor, sat down next to one of those railings on the road, that block the road from you for the pedestrian. So anyway, he was crying loud, big dude, big black dude, he was crying loud, and in fact, to be honest with you, based on what I see, most of the white youth that I see walking past him, they were taking the mickey out of him. They was actually laughing at him because they seen a big man, be sitting there crying, in the hands of the police and cops, because he don't know what's going to happen to him. That's what he's saying, right? So I saw one white dude, which is like a hippie type, and an older Jamaican lady with one of those hats that actually stopped, and they was actually talking to the black lady was talking to the police officers who arrested him. The white dude was there with his camera, beaming at the police, making sure they're not doing anything illegal. Yeah. So I stopped and I said, what's happening here? But because of the guy, he's not listening to what the police is telling him. He's not complying. The police officer said to me, I would let this guy go. But because of his behavior, and I think he's been intoxicated, if I leave him now, he go into another argument or problem, I will get into problem with my senior officer, right? Then I asked him, I said, right. I said, what have these guys done wrong? He said, it's just argument. I said, did anyone reported him doing wrong? Because I know how somebody law works, right? The officer said, no. I said, right, you're just supposed to arrest him then, because he's not been reported, of doing anything wrong. So, it's probably best you let him go. He said, yes, I would let him go. I will let him go now if he stopped, what he's doing. The guy is not, we were begging him. I spent half an hour, even my own woman telling me, listen, leave this guy, man. He's not listening. I begged him for half an hour, yeah. Then he got up, and I guaranteed the officer, I said, I will take this guy to his hotel, me and the black lady. So eventually, the officers took it, unlocked the handcuff, right? Yeah, and hand over the guy to me and this black lady. Big dude, he's trying to lean on me, nearly put me on the floor. Yeah, me and the lady walked down. You know why my man whispered to me? He said, yo, I got bare food on me, That means I was carrying, illegal stuff on me. I didn't want to go into the van because they would have sacked me. Do you understand? So is that's what I'm saying. Is sometimes this is a very complicated issue, and it's a cultural problem.
Complicated. That dude's an idiot.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Total different.
See,
Total idiot.
and like, this is why I lament and feel sorry for good black men like yourself, because you care too much about niggas, because this very man that put himself in legal jeopardy wants you and that Jamaican lady to bail his stupid ass out and then act a fool on his behalf when he did all that whole situation was because of him. And you guys should not have felt empowered or motivated to even help his stupid ass. And that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to let those people go by the freaking wayside, because that's what his decision was to okay. And I'll use myself as an example. When I was a kid and understood the difference between right and wrong, and the white man said, if you have this substance on you, then we can kill you, put you in jail, put you in a cage like an animal, and do whatever we want to you.
Right.
To myself, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to be messing with that white powder stuff or this other stuff that the white man said he would literally kill me over. Okay?
No.
If black people are that stupid to do that under a system of quote unquote white supremacy, You need to get what's coming to you. You need to get it.
Rifleman, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Rifleman, one man is asking.
Rifleman,
Yes, sir.
are you black?
Last time I checked.
All right, I was just checking, you know, because every time I come in here, you're always weighing down on black people. Nigga this, nigga that, black this,
Right.
black that. So I just wondered if you count yourself amongst the people you criticize, or
Yes, I
see,
do.
yeah.
Why I criticize. That's why exactly why I criticize, because I expect better of my people and I want better. So I don't have low standards for our conduct in the world.
Yeah,
Do
and
you think you know better? Do you think you know better?
Than some people, yes, but I'm not the smartest man and I'm not the most knowledgeable. That's why I shut up and listen to people like you. I watch your channel, I'm subscribed, and I learn from you. You talk about certain issues, I'll definitely shut up and not say anything.
Have you been to a black dominated country?
Yes, I have.
How long did you spend there?
Not long enough.
Which country was it? Have you been to Africa?
I don't really. I have made it to the continent, but not in the capacity, so I really don't count it as a visit.
When are you planning to go visit Kaizo? You know Kaizo, so when are you planning to go spend 3-4 weeks with him?
Sure.
When?
This year.
All right, maybe do
that would
that.
be good.
Maybe do that, and then you get a real organic feel of because you know the way black people live in America, the way black people live in the UK, the way black people live in the West is not a representation. It's not representative of black people.
I'm talking about the West. I'm not talking about any other place or country. So I was.
Oh yeah, I mean, one man. I think American First Rifleman will not compare Africa to African America. Definitely to America, because the Africa we are cultured. You know, I think we have engaged that topic in the past, where people know that, you know, the black people that we see in the West today, like, you know, it doesn't represent our people in the continent at all.
All right, I came halfway into your conversation, so maybe
Yes.
I
No,
missed most of it.
I understand where you're coming from.
Let me just shut up, you know. But
No, you're
anytime
making
I do
valid
come
points.
in, Rifleman is always just machine gun Kelly against black
You
people.
know that.
You know?
No, I hear you. That's some valid checks. You get me? I understand that. You know, it's got to be done. But yeah, it is a shame. In fact, we was talking about this one time, and like, you know, people need to realize sometimes it's to do the culture. You know, it's the culture. Once we have this content in the West, you know, we always gonna struggle. Yeah. So that's why I think if you know, it's a lot of Africans that have their kids, American First Riflemen, a lot of Africans that got their kids in America or Europe. What they tend to do is to send their kids back to Africa, you know, to grow up over there for a little bit, so they could learn some manners, some culture, learn their tradition and stuff like that. So when they come to these countries, you can see things totally different. But when you're born here, you know, you never lived in Africa, you never grew up, you don't learn your culture, you know that discipline and, you know, and stuff like that. When you come up, you know, you're born here, you're gonna be like a white person, you're gonna get lost. You're gonna get lost like the kids that are born here, regardless of their color skin. So I think it's a cultural thing. So one man is correct in comes to the continent, the people in Africa, which is where we have most black people that actually live together, do not behave like this. If they do, it's a small percentage.
I feel you, bro.
Yeah.
Man, Mo was about to come and mow me down, bro.
Mo,
But you know, I just want better for black people globally, but I just focus on people in the West because that's what I know. That's why I'm very careful about not speaking on Africans too much, because I'll speak on maybe something generic and I'll have my opinion on something when it comes to Africa. But for the most part, I definitely don't try to interject myself on some, on
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
if you know it, cool. But if you don't know it, yeah, it's best to stay away from it because it's another
But,
defining.
let me ask you this, Rifleman. Why do you think that the new African migrants and the historic blacks, probably a topic you've covered already, why do you think they're not having that connect in the West, in the UK, in America, wherever? Where's that? Why is that chasm between us?
I think really it comes from I I don't know a way to articulate it where it's not going to sound bad or weird, but I'm just going to go with it. I just think that we as a race don't value working together. I think we're still in a certain way plagued by tribalism at different levels, I think, and it stops us from working together. I think that's possibly what it is. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is because we have access and proximity to too much knowledge and resources in the West for this stuff to be happening, like or not. So it kind of so there has to be something fundamentally wrong with our culture or possibly our race. There has to be. I just don't know exactly what it is.
Yes, I mean, there's and also why is Tariq Nasheed, you know, asking African Americans, like why is his people tend to be targeting Africans in the diaspora that live in America?
Well,
Like,
for one, y'all have to recognize like the thing about Africans in America is that
yeah.
they
Not
try.
Tariq Nasheed. I mean, not all Black American, but why is Tariq Nasheed like quite a while ago he seemed to
Oh
be
well,
trying
because
to
it.
push
Well,
a narrative against our people in America?
I can tell you why because it's really we don't want to lose our place close to the white man. Let's just be honest. I mean,
Right,
uh,
right. That's
uh,
the honest answer,
so
bro.
we don't want, especially if black people come over being more productive and actually competing with us
Yeah,
and endearing themselves. Because think about it, like the way to get close to the white man is be competent, not be a certain race or whatever or kiss his butt. Just go there and be tangible. That's all the white man really cares about.
simple
But
as that.
and so when Africans come in being doctors and engineers and stuff, that makes us a bit nervous because that's gonna just further just the white man's gonna just not have any use for us, which he already kind of doesn't because we don't make ourselves useful, but in large part. So I think that's what mostly
I
the
I
anxiety,
think you
anxiety
the
of not being
American,
close to the white man.
yeah, I think you should take that as an advantage because the Africans coming over there like engineers or doctors, they're more likely to work with you guys, because they actually would like to reach out to you to the right African Americans because it's probably much more easier for them and they probably more like to reach out to you guys and work together. But you shouldn't be scared of it at all because
Well, I'm not scared of it because I'm a
not
rational.
you, but like I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Not you personally, but other groups.
But
Yes.
they
Then
think
that's a honest answer. I appreciate that.
that we're special because we're in America. Like seriously, like and it's like Nagmeezy, like Negroes like Nagmeezy, that's another black American just like me, has this idea that we're premium blacks and we're special blacks because we're African American and we're close to white people. We dunk basketballs well. And think about when I say that, I'm being cynical, but yes, black Americans have done great things. But I don't think it's to the level where we have the audacity to say we're the best blacks on the planet, which some black Americans do. And that's a sickness to me. Like there's no best black people on the fucking planet. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't never heard you saying black supremacist or Brandon or Dynasty
We don't
syndrome.
use that, but that's
That.
not
Nah,
easy.
that's you. But
Yeah, because we
so
recognize we're
I have had some other African Americans that trying to feel like
yeah,
they're more
because
better
we
than us.
recognize that's why I rock with people like Dynas, Brandon, and people
Yeah,
like that because we recognize we're African. Without
yeah,
Africans, we're nobody. We're nothing. We're
yeah,
nothing. We come from y'all. So that's why when Not Measy comes with this, we premium blacks and we had all these black inventors and all that, that's because you were close to the white man. That's all. Like, there's no reason for me to celebrate that or be like, yeah. Like, I'm happy with the achievements, and it helped our standing in the world, and it proved that we can achieve and do great things. But as far as us being better than other black people, it's bullshit, and it needs to stop. And that's why you have Tariq Nasheed, and you have people deleting Africans in America, because that happens. Like, black Americans are fucking straight up just brutalizing Africans and committing crimes and shit. So it pisses
that's
me.
wrong. That's wrong, bro. That pisses me off when I see them do that to their own brothers. That
Yeah,
going over there.
sweat niggas don't be a coon and don't make an excuse for it.
That's why I love what Brandon and Dynasty is doing, you know, trying to expose these things, you know, because our African brothers and sisters going over there, they're just trying to make some money to send back home, because things are not easy for them, you know. And,
yeah,
you know,
have 12-year-old nigglets trying to run up in a car and stuff and killing them and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
a lot of Africans have been killed there, man.
Yeah.
You know?
But you'll have these Negro, like when and people wonder why I say the stuff I do, because I understand the negative element in my country or in the West. It's like you can't negotiate and it's like, oh no, it's because of racism and poverty. That's why they're acting this way. Like, that's how people want to approach this shit. And it's
now,
like,
I
no,
understand that we're making excuses for the people that are killing our own, and that doesn't look good. It's not a good representation of our own community. I understand.
We're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But
you know, me and you went way back. We had our argument, whatever. But I understand you got your mind in the right place. You know, the guys that you hang around with, I know they got their mind in the right place as well. But it's about seeing things as a family. You know, trying to fix it together. That's time. That seeing things as a family and trying to work things together, you know, is a key. You know, and having people like you over there looking out for our people also, and exposing the reality of what some of our people are going through, you know, in America, is refreshing.
Hey, AFR, I wanted to comment on what you said earlier about the whole like Africans and Black Americans thing.
Okay, let me let you carry on for him. I'll come back in a minute, yeah, because I just got my boy just came back in, yeah.
No wahala. So it's interesting because I see the same thing going on in South Africa. I'm currently watching that documentary that BBC just posted about what's going on. And it's like, if you actually look at the data, if you think about who's actually replacing Black Americans, it's Latinos by far. By far. Of the neighborhoods, all the underground market that Black Americans had, the whole drug market or whatever they thought they had going on, Latinos took it on the West Coast.
We're just the storefront.
And Chicago. And they took it in Chicago too, you know, because they have the numbers like crazy. How can a 5% compete with, you know, 20 or 30%, right? So, but nothing you can, like, even Tariq, I remember when Tariq made that comment about the Latinos and they checked him and he never made another comment again. So
they make
this African thing because they can't talk about the real problem. Because if you think about it, Africans aren't competing with Black Americans in anything. We're collaborating. I mean, we don't have enough Black doctors. If there's an additional Senegalese doctor, why is that a crime? It's not like we don't even have the numbers. So we're really collaborating. I mean, the only thing you could say is maybe, you know, there's some lost wounds because of, you know, slavery, who sold who. Okay, maybe we can deal with all that. But if we talk about our issues today, there's no way Africans and Black Americans can have any type of issues because we're collaborating, not working against each other. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say we're actively quote unquote working against each other, but it's just that by and large we're not really collaborating enough where there's like synergy. Pretty much I see more Black Americans ripping off and murdering Africans in America than I see us actually working together and making great things. I'm just going to be honest. And plus, and also there's a lot more people that are willing to say, I ain't African. I don't know them. They ain't us. Then, you know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Yeah, I know. Actually, so let me change. When I use the word collaborating, that was we're not actually collaborating. That's how there's organization. I would say like, okay, you know, hey, look, that guy's gonna, you know, this is a Black guy. He's African. He's Senegalese. He works at the place. You know, he might look out for me. Blah 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 blah. There's no active collaboration like we have organizations together. I'm just saying, like, because people think of it like, okay, there's 5 spots on the team, only one for the black guy. The African took it. Like, that's not how the world works. That's not what's going on. Africans are going to spaces that I don't think Black Americans dominated in. So I don't really see where the competition is. That's kind of what my whole point is. There are other groups that are literally taking food out of Black Americans' mouth. I don't really see Africans taking, or Caribbeans taking food out of Black Americans' mouth. You know, at least I don't personally.
You'd have to.
Oh, we used to run hip hop. Now you guys do this whole Afro beat thing.
Okay, Caesar, can you tell me how they're taking food out of our mouths?
I don't really. I mean, okay, devil's advocate. Well, we ran hip hop for the past 20 years. Now you tethers are trying to spread your little Afro beat stuff.
Oh, that's more FBA mind sickness right there. So.
You know, because only one nigger is allowed to sell music at a time, right?
Oh my God, that's that knock measy shit, bro. Like,
you know, or what's another thing? Oh, Obama, you know, the first Black president was, you know, Kenyan. He took our spot. I mean, what the fuck, you know? I mean, I don't know. I don't see it as a competition, bro. I don't think we have enough numbers to even make that argument. It would be very sad if we started doing that.
That sounded like a humble brag right there, Caesar. That Obama.
That was not a humble brag. Hey, you cousin will holler for yourself, not me. I don't. That's not how I talk, bro. I don't see like what did Obama do for Black people? Man, I'm not humbly bragging about shit. And he's Kenyan. It's not like he's not like an Igbo or some shit. Obama was raised around white people. Obama didn't do anything for Black people. There's no brag there, you know. And if Africans start bragging like that, I don't know what's wrong with us. I'm just saying, like, I don't really see the competition. I don't see us in the same fields. Like, there's 3 Black people in a room.
Let me ask you this, Caesar. Do you think the Black migrants, do you think they reach out enough to the original Blacks, or however they term themselves? Do you think they reach out enough?
We don't. We don't. One man, that was a great. We don't, and we're starting to. Are we starting to? Small. No, we're actually. I don't even know if we're starting to. Like, let's look at our Redeemed churches, for example. That's probably the only main organization that Africans have outside of Africa. These churches, and it's mostly Nigerians. I mean, we're still battling tribalism within our own country. It's rare that you even find a Cameroonian or someone from Ghana in our churches. Why aren't we collaborating with the Baptist churches? I mean, I'm not trying to promote the whole Christianity thing. I'm just saying, like, we're not even doing that.
Do you think Africans, using Nigerians as an example, do you think Africans are too clannish for the foundational Blacks to come in? Because using the UK experience, when the Africans come in, they gather in all these little clusters, usually church-based, and then they gravitate amongst themselves, a bit like the Indians do, actually. And then they form this cell amongst themselves, which is a protectionist sort of a thing, like a strength by number sort of a thing. But then by doing that, of course, they don't let the foundational Blacks in. So do you think the Africans in diaspora, do you think they're too clannish in their ways to let other Blacks in?
We're too clan, and it's because we don't see ourselves. Think about the churches. We barely make it cross tribal. I mean, we're still struggling to do and accomplish that. Where you have Yoruba, Igbo, all these different tribes in our churches, we're still battling that. So we don't even have other Africans in our churches. So what do you think about Black Americans or Black Caribbeans? We're still struggling. We're too clannish, but it's protectionism. But we should open our minds and let other groups in, I think.
Still using the Nigerian example, do you think there's a superiority complex, especially with the Nigerian example, feeling a sense of being above other Black types? Is there part of that in there?
No, I wouldn't say that. Yeah, we like to brag, but I don't think we're like. I've never heard anyone articulate, oh, the reason why we don't have African Americans in our churches is because we don't like them. It's more like no.
I'm not talking about the churches essentially, especially, but I'm really talking about why that relationship is not forming. You know, because that relationship is not forming amongst the migrant Blacks. Using the Nigerians as the marquee example, because that migration is mainly Nigerian, and the foundational Blacks. So do you think the Nigerian comes in with a sense of superiority, which somewhat rankles with the foundational blacks?
So Nigerians do have a sense of superiority, but it's not personal against blacks, other blacks. We're just confident in ourselves. It's not I think I'm better than you. It's just I think I'm the best. And there's a difference between those two statements.
Really?
Okay, FR, you can speak on that. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying from what I see, especially in a lot of Black American spaces, we think we're better than Africans.
I don't really get the sense of, oh, we're better than them. It's more like we're the best. I don't know if you understand the difference, but like.
Now, I understand the difference, but I think in their mind, that best means they're better.
Well, here's the thing. This relationship just started. Most Africans who came to the West, at least in America, came after 2001. So that we're trying to work everything out in real time. This is actually relatively new. You know what I'm saying? So we're still testing everything out. This is a new experience for most of us, at least. But it doesn't make any sense to me. Like the organizations, you have Black and you have African, you have Nigerian. Yes, we have different experiences, but some of those things we can do it together. I don't think everything has to be separate. We don't even have the numbers to be playing like that.
What about this comment by Chuku? Black in America is a political stance more than a race. So do you think really the Black diasporic experience should coalesce behind that phrase, that ideology? That Black are essentially in the diaspora, it should be more of a political stance rather than a race.
Well, Black equals Democrat in America.
Yeah, that's a fact. Here's the thing about the whole Black thing is like, look, to me, I agree with Chuku Igwe. Black is a race, but it's also a political stance, which is why, despite my political beliefs, I'm always Black, right? I don't really like it when people are like, oh, I'm not Black, because to me, it's like you're saying I'm better than other people or something. That's how I feel about it. So maybe it's a little political in my head too. It's like a superiority thing. Oh, I'm not Black. I'm Igbo. I'm Yoruba. I'm not Black. Like, are you trying to say you're better than the rest of us? Just, I don't get it. Snake Man, what do you think?
What do I think? Not much.
That's my nigga right there.
I just think that for me, Black means a specific history. Or you can say culture. If you want to say that. I'm sorry that I'm so low, but I'm coming back at work, so I'm a little bit tired.
You try. See, this comment, I think, look, people shouldn't take it personal. It's not that Nigerians think they're better than African. It's not a personal thing. I think Nigerians just think they're the best. Like, it's not really like.
Trust me. How many haters we have? Africans, Americans are not on the top list.
Yeah, it's not like you sit down.
Sorry, Caesar. It's not really that Nigerians think they're the best, because you are trying to say it's a self-confidence thing. Nigerians generally, and especially southern Nigerians, the Igbos and the Yorubas, they are very brash and they are very crude in their manner. And this annoys people. They are very brash, very loud, very arrogant, and very uncouth in the way they behave.
Yeah, my problem is that logic is only why you're focusing on the one who is loud but barely ever do things to you, and not on the one who is silent and fucks you over for centuries. Like why are you focusing on that?
There you go. Besides, African Americans are loud too. So I mean, what's the problem?
No, that is like you can hate us. I have nothing against it, but my problem is always why you're focusing on the smallest part of your personal problem. Like as a group, Africans don't do a lot. Like a lot that could be said that is criminal or absolute demonic. Like they are not very high when it comes to that. They are very dusty, but.
Thank you. People are acting as if like, oh, I tried to get a job and a Nigerian didn't let me. Like, bro, Nigerians are not, holding the door and closing it and, effing people over. Yeah, they're a little confident, but why does it offend you? I mean, did they take your girl? Okay, maybe they did in some cases, but Take it easy. Nigerians aren't stopping anyone from eating, so I don't really be confident in yourself too. I don't see the problem.
I think the problem is that in the social contract, every society has a social contract. And then you have someone who just tap dances on the social contract all the time. Like, I think that is what I find annoying.
I mean,
Like,
I think Nigeria should take it easy. I think we should take it easy with the little people can't handle the kitchen. Take it easy a bit because we do have the numbers. See, Jamaicans brag just like us too, but they don't have the numbers where it makes you feel uncomfortable. But in the West, Nigerians have the numbers to back it up. So I think, yeah, maybe.
Did you remember when we had the discussion with the South African? And then when we digged a little bit, and then we found out that his government is corrupt, that most of the drug dealers were local South Africans, that they had a problem because they got the drugs from South America. But instead of focusing on all the people, all the majority, 99, he focused on that on 0.1% of Nigerians, who just eating of the system, was just eating off the systems that already existed.
If you watch that documentary, there's a woman who talks about how her son got addicted to drugs, and then she starts crying about how much she hates foreigners because she believes a foreigner sold her son drugs. And the documentary person was like, "Wait a minute, don't South Africans also sell drugs too?" And she's like, "Yeah, but I think that if the foreigners weren't here, the drug problem would be less." Like she's putting all of the problem that her son went through on an imaginary foreigner. Like it's crazy, and she's crying tears. It's insane.
No, but that is basic, and that's why I say you can hate us, but at least be logical with it. At least be logical with it. But most of the hate is not logical. It's literally just low IQ.
In her heart, she truly believes that her son is addicted to drugs because a Nigerian sold him.
Could be half true.
Huh?
It could be half true.
I mean, okay, it's possible a Nigerian sold her son drugs. Yes, but I don't know. The way she's putting the weight on foreigners, like, what about your son? Why is your son even doing drugs? Like, come on.
I mean, that is when you watch the numbers, only 7% of the population is foreigner.
Are Nigerians that good of a salesman that like people are buying drugs that wouldn't have bought it because Nigerians, our tongues are that sweet? Come on, man.
Even Nigerians are that good.
Huh?
Not even Nigerians are that good.
Exactly.
I mean, if you listen to the haters, we have the silver tongue of God. Like we speak, it becomes reality.
Like the tongue isn't that good. Where like, oh no, my son would have been a saint, but that Nigerian, he's just so good with his mouth. Like you're so on it.
Pause.
Maybe Nigerians do need to take it easy. I personally take it easy. Look, people don't, that whole Nigerian superiority thing, people don't get that vibe from me, but I know they get it from other Nigerians. I do think some Nigerians need to chill out. Stop bullying other groups.
Especially the older one. My God.
Something that I would actually say Nigerians that display that normally conduct themselves in a way that I can be like, okay, you can get that or whatever. Like I very rarely see Nigerians acting a fool or not representing themselves in a good way. So to me, it's just like, hey, if they are a bit confident or overconfident, that's fine because they're doing respectable things.
You must understand there are two classes of Nigerians. There are multiple, but let's make it simpler. There's a low-class Nigerian. Most of the time, as a complaint is about low-class Nigerian who never achieved anything in Nigeria and had to go away to achieve something because it's too cutthroat in Nigeria. And there's a high-class Nigerian. It's the actual one who actually makes the money, who actually buys the bitches, have thousands of cars, have gold-plated shoes, all that bragging shit. Or what they do is they always mix those two. So they mix the troublemaking Nigerians who are, if you really break it down by population, are a very, very, very small percent. And says that those troublemaking Nigerians who are low class are now the ones who brag like the high class one who literally jumps into a pool of money. These are not the same people.
Yeah. Or not, yeah, but I get what you're saying. That thank you for explaining that actually.
Like one thing I noticed when I went into Kaiser's channel the first time, we talked about a Nigerian who was, I think, in Saudi Arabia or some of those Arabian Peninsula countries, and he had a table full of money, and he made a video where he basically is danced and said, "Hey, those stupid Arabs! Look at the money I scammed! Those dusty camera riders!" And guess what? I told myself, "Oh, please, please!" He made that video outside of Saudi Arabian country. Nope, he did that inside. Guess what? 2 days later, we found him hung from a tree.
Oh my God. He actually did that?
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. No, I didn't think a black person be that stupid. Oh, are you serious?
No, think about it. Think about it. He was that stupid, but he was intelligent enough to scam a table full of money from those people.
Damn.
God, man. Damn. Woo. Y'all Africans just are amazing folks, bro.
But here's the thing, that little swagger that Nigerians exhibit, all West Africans do it, and African Americans do it, and Caribbeans do it. So it might be one of those things where, like, to see twins fight. I think
Nigerians are the closest to, besides Jamaicans, like I would say the top 3 black people on the planet by reputation, I'm just going to be honest, are Jamaicans, African Americans, and Nigerians. Like,
I'm saying, so it's like twins. You know how twins fight? It's the same thing. We all do the same thing. Like if someone from East Africa was saying, "Oh, I don't like how you guys act," I'd be like, "Okay, I kind of get it because you guys are culturally a little bit different." But when it's coming from these guys, I'm like, "Come on, we're all the same. Stop it."
you know what's so funny is the only 3 the 3, like I said, the 3 black groups I just said, like black Americans, Jamaicans, and Nigerians are the only people I know could go to like a completely different country, have no bitch, no money, and then within like a week or 2 have like both of them.
Those Jamaicans, man, Jamaicans are small country. They're killing it. Jamaicans, woo.
Can I tell you a quick story real quick? I actually got to get off. But when I first moved to Oregon, one of the first people I actually met when I moved here was a Jamaican dude. My stupid ass, I was on hard time, so I had to go to a dusty shelter for a couple of days because my apartment wasn't ready and I ran out of money. So I didn't have a place to fucking go. So I stayed in the shelter, and this Jamaican dude literally came like right from Jamaica. He was like a musician or whatever, and me and him were like friends for like months. I lost contact with him, unfortunately. But anyway, literally within like a week, this dude had a girlfriend, was driving around in her car, and then the next week he bought his own car, and then had like a job and was like working and stuff like that, and just was like out of the shelter living with some like Hispanic shit. So like, but he was a good guy. He wasn't a pookie though. He wasn't a regular hardworking guy. So yeah,
there you go. I believe it 100% because I've seen it. I believe it 100%. That's crazy.
Now, one thing that is something confusing. The door is always open. Anytime you can become one of us. Naturally, you must jump through the hoops and do the stupid dance. Because that's a stupid dance, but the door is always wide open. Like there is no like a big ass wall. Like you cannot become a Nigerian. You can. You literally can. You just have to come to us and go through that baptism.
100%, bro. And I think some Nigerians ones are too aggressive.
Caesar, sorry to cut you off, but I actually have to go. It was great talking to you, nice people for hours, and it's great, but I might come on a little bit later. Hopefully you guys are still on, but thank you.
Shout out for you, brother. Go ahead and pick some cotton.
Cotton.
Are Nigerians, are they bullies? Are they, what's going on? They bullying?
I mean, the only country you can say Nigeria is bullying is Niger.
Yeah, exactly.
So actively, like any other country, we don't really care. But you understand it because they have, for some reason, the state invested a lot of money into Niger. No idea why.
Yep. Facts.
Yeah, but look, Snake Man, right? You guys and all these coups. Remember how you guys got excited about all this stuff? It's not gonna change anything, right? Orano still owns the mining in Niger. The Nigerian government owns less than 30% of the mines. So the numbers now to me make sense. You guys have been unfairly coming for France, but all this time it looks like you guys just didn't even own the mines, let alone the uranium
You
on the
guys,
ground.
I'm Nigerian. What talking about?
You know what I mean by
I
you
was
guys,
happy.
right?
I was happy. No, I was happy because for once I thought maybe those leaders are not low IQ and bite into the system.
Mhm.
I hoped. Doesn't mean that I didn't expect that it can go wrong. Like when you told me that still didn't took away the rights, the mining rights, and no, okay, false alarm, like all the other coups is just a farce. Let's return to the status quo.
Yep. As I mentioned earlier, like Niger doesn't even have that much control because the mines are owned by Orano, right? It's a contract. It's a long-term contract. They own it. They're the ones who built the mines. The government owns like 30%. So the government cannot even say, hey, we don't want to give you the uranium anymore. If they do that, nobody else will be able to invest there because they'll be like, well, what if you do the same thing to us? So it's going to be a breach of contract because they don't actually own majority share of the mines. So yeah, all in all, yeah, you guys are cut. I think you just have to.
Nah, if X5 is a leader and I'm not a state builder, but what I would do is I would just implement Chinese law, like some
Chinese law. Okay. How?
basically to keep it easy, you can do nothing without the approval of the locals. So that has nothing to do with the contract in itself. You can literally do nothing. You can still mine the uranium, but the uranium will not leave the factory. Because outside the factory lands, it's our law, not yours.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's true, right?
That's easy how to solve the entire problem, but once again, most Africans are not high IQ.
Yeah, 100%. But all this cool stuff, right? What all it taught me is that optimism in the Pan-African space is dangerous, right? Because nobody went and did a deep dive and even realized what the hell who owns the mines. Like I've seen zero reports on any of these African videos about anything, right? About the contract, who owns what. They're all just optimistic, blaming France for things, and the reality is it's much more difficult than that. Right?
Oh,
it's
it's
like
France. It's France. It's France. Like the source is France, but it's also collaborators. Like don't get me wrong. If you would do a purge, most of the people would be black. Like don't get me wrong.
No, but Snake Man, let me ask you a question, yeah? Actually, no. Let me end the stream. I need to go do something. I'll be